Hi everyone, this is Deborah. Welcome back. I am here on another rainy day in Brisbane, and today what I'm wanting to do is to alter my patterned paper. So this is just a Tim Holtz 8x8 from one of the paper pads that he does, and I'm going to make some journaling cards with it. But before I do that, I thought that I would add to it. Now I know that it's really busy already, but I want to put more on top of it and just see what sort of effect that gives. And also I thought that it might be interesting because then you'd have something different to what other people are using in their journals. I've got my swatches for my distress ink out that I did a while ago now, and you can go back and look at that video if you like. The reason I've got them out, and I probably should really fill them into the edges, is I just wanted to see what sort of went with what in terms of tone, because I've got quite a variety of different colours in here. So I've got like this red, white and blue one, or red, yeah, I guess it's red, white and blue with a bit of black. Anyway, so I just thought using the swatches was a good idea. For example, that appears to be perfect with that paper, whereas this one I don't think is. There's too much blue in there maybe, whereas those greeny, tanny sort of tones that I've got in there, and there's my different shades, that they're really good with that particular paper. And then this one here, which has got lots of that vintage blues and reds in it, I'm just looking at what might go with that. I think that is too much. Let's look at this one. Actually, I quite like that. I know it's got purples in it and yellows, but if I'm looking at the different tones that are in the paper, I think this is better. And that's why I need to fix these swatches up so they come to the edge. But if I do that, yeah, I think that would be fine. But anyway, that's the idea. So this blue one here, I'd definitely go for that immediately. That's what I would think I would put on that to enhance that. So let's go. I've got out lots of different things, or a few different things anyway. So let's start with this blue one here. And I've got some stamps, and I also have some stencils. I haven't used my stencils forever, so it's probably a good time to get them out. I keep using that one because it's my favourite. I've also got some Tim Holtz stencils out and different sorts of things. This is a Stamperia one. This one is, it's a name brand. I just can't think what it is now. But anyway, that's the idea, is to let's go and do some of that. So because I've got a swatch, I'm going to look at the colour and flip it over. So any of these would do. That's what this is telling me. I just now have to find those. So these are the colours that I'm going to put on this one. So that swatch has come in quite handy now. And then I'm looking at the pattern on it to see what I think would go. Now it's got aeroplanes and like blueprints on it, so I probably don't want anything like this, for example, because that again is like almost a blueprinty type thing. So to alter it like that, it's probably going to clash, I think, if I put that on there. So put that one aside. I probably don't want anything like clocks or letters and numbers, again, because they're sort of blueprinty sort of stuff in my in my head. That's what I'm thinking. I think maybe arrows might look good, and I'm going to use a couple of stencils, so I'll have a go with arrows. And because I'm going to be putting this down onto another surface, it doesn't matter if I muck it up, because I can just turn it over, and then if I muck that side up, it's a piece of paper. I've had a few comments lately about, oh, I can't touch my paper. Well, it's a piece of paper. Let's get real, people. The paper is probably worth maybe 50 cents if you're lucky. I don't know, I haven't worked it out, but it's a piece of paper. Let's get over the dread of just not wanting to use our papers, and let's use them. Otherwise they just sit in the cupboard, and then somebody will throw them away at the end of the day. So I've got this weathered wood, which was one of the colours, and I'm using an oxide. So I've got my oxide tool. It doesn't really matter, but I'm trying to keep my little hand tool for oxides and then inks, and just change the sponge over with different ones. That's what I've had in my stash, and now I've put ink all over my fingers. I have to clean that up. So now in terms of the stencil, I'm not just going to plonk it down and do it. I'm going to be a little bit strategic, and never done this before, so no idea what this is actually going to do. Just thought I'd give it a go. So if I just sort of pop these little arrows down and just kind of put them. Now I am keeping them going up and down roughly and side to side roughly, just because that's me. I can't do them the other way. I can't do them crooked. I'd like to, but it's just not working. It just, my brain won't let me do that for some odd reason. I like things to be, you know, up and down or side to side, not the other way. Now I think that's enough. I don't want to go crazy and put heaps and heaps of stuff on the different piece. So this is one. Let's clean this off before I put it away, because I might use it again and I don't want ink to be everywhere. Right, that's one. And then maybe I'll do something that's more in the blue colour, because that would be, let's see, maybe the Stormy Sky, although that's quite dark. Maybe something a bit brighter, like Tumbled Glass might be the go. So now, because I've got these sort of straight things on, I'm thinking that maybe I will use some of this stencil, just slightly, very, you know, minimally, if I can do that. I'm not sure I can do that. Let's just, yeah, see, that's going to blend in more because it's not quite so bright with how it, you know, how it's looking there is not quite as bright as it was. And again, I'm really looking at where I'm putting them. I'm not just randomly plonking them down somewhere. I'm looking at, you know, expanding the lines, and I'm kind of leaving this center spot at the moment. So I've got that there. I'd like another one here. Maybe I'll turn it this way and put it down here. So let me do this. Just cover that grey up a little tiny bit. I think that's fine. I like that colour. It's a nice colour. That's Tumbled Glass. Now, because I've got that and it's all in those blue tones, I want to give it some contrast, some pop of colour. So because I'm in blue, or those sort of blue-green tones, I need to look at the colour wheel and determine which way I'm going to go. And obviously I can go the complementary colours on either side, or I can go opposite into that reds and things like that. So I've got this stencil out, which, you know, I don't wash my stencils. I usually just wipe them over, but clearly with this one I haven't. And this one is, I don't know what brand that is, but it's a really, really useful stencil because it's got so many different sized dots on it. So I want to go into an orange colour. So again, back to this, orange or pinks would be fine. I do have an orange, which is Carved Pumpkin. So maybe I'm going to go into a Carved Pumpkin. It might be a little bit bright, but we'll see how we go. So I'm just going to take my Carved Pumpkin and get some on my sponge. And you don't have to use one of these. You can use whatever sort of sponge that you've got. And I'm going to put some of these up here. Now, as I said, if this doesn't work, not the end of the world. We'll see how it goes. Just through that and into some of those little ones as well that are in there. It's going to be quite bright, I think. Well, actually, it's not too bad, is it? It's not that bright. I thought it would be really, really bright, but it's actually not. Now I'm going to turn my stencil and I'm going to come down here, just with some little dots this time, which is what I like about this particular stencil. It's got so many different sized dots on it that you can really pick and choose if you want to go large or small. And then I think we need something. I'm just looking at where we might need something. Remembering that, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I'm going to chop this up as well. So, you know, I need to make sure I've got some coverage on different parts. And then maybe I'll go back to this sort of medium size here and put them up here. And I don't care if I'm getting part of the circle. I also don't care if I overlap it. I think that's fine. And I definitely need to go down here, but I'm going to turn my paper. I want to go on a different plane here, go on the side. So you'll also notice what I've done is I've stuck to the one colour for one stencil. And I did that for a reason, because I think if I did like orange arrows and orange diamonds and orange circles, it wouldn't look any good. It would just, you know, confuse your eye a little bit. So that's why I've stuck to the one sort of stencil for one circle. And I'm just going to pop a tiny little bit up here. I'm not sure if I'll use that piece even, but why not? That's looking good. The tumbled glass is looking a little pale through here, but I still think it's enough with the grey and the orange. I knew the orange would really pop, and it really has. So let's leave that, and I think that that's fine. So I want to do another one because that background was quite soft. So before I go and chop things up, I'm actually going to take one that's heavily patterned. Let's pop the lid back on there. This one here, which has got a lot of pattern on it already, and I'm going to go to these colours, and I'm going to do one like that, and then I'll chop them up and show you what I'm doing with them. So the inks here are these ones. So the first thing is to pick a stencil, and I picked this one here, which is like very linear, because this is writing and flowy, so I wanted to contrast it with something linear. And I'm using crushed olive, which is, I keep saying, one of my favourites, but I actually only bought my favourites. There's so many inks, I think there's like 60 odd of them, and I bought just a handful. I think I own, I don't know what I own, but anyway, I bought some, and it's all I tend to use, the ones that I like. So I've just recently added Kitsch Flamingo to that. And I still don't have the other new ones. So I have to look at what I'm going to do with that. Now you can see that's super subtle, but you can still see it. I'm just going to turn the stencil this way now. And if you're wondering, this is a Stamperia stencil, and it's called Dual Bios, B-I-O-S, not A-S. And I've had it for a little while now, and I do use it quite a bit actually when I'm stenciling. Not that I've done much stenciling lately. So I've got some down here, and I think I just need to balance it out and put a little bit up here as well. Now I've gone for that colour, the crushed olive, so I need to bring something in that's a bit more green, because that's quite a yellow colour, that one. So I think I'm going to probably go for this one, which is Bundled Sage, which is here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the letters and see how that turns out. Let's just put some down here. That's good. I like that. And then we can go up here, and I'll pick a different part of the stencil so I'm not doing repetition. I'll do some numbers while I'm down there. I'll get some of those numbers. I'm not going all the way to the top either. I'm just kind of placing them on. And then I want to maybe do a string of numbers, maybe down the side here. That'd be good down here. To get some of those numbers in. This is very subtle too, this colour, which is good. Not a bad thing to have some subtlety. I think that maybe I do need something just up here in this corner, or let's just see where I'm going to put this actually. Let's do a little patch in here. Probably a bit lower than what I wanted actually, but never mind, it'll have to do. It's on there now, and I can't take it off. So that's that one. And then I think I need, because I've got like a yellowy, sort of a yellow green, and then I've got this one, which is that sage, Bundled Sage, and I think I just need another colour. I might go for the contrast again actually. Yeah, I'll go for the contrasting colour. So this would be the contrast, and that's good because you can already see they're using that in there, because I've got a little pop of red here and here and here on the paper. So therefore, I think, you know, I can go to like this one, which is Candied Apple. And then with the Candied Apple, I'm going to go to the clocks. Now, I don't want to go to the really parts that have got a big blob like that. I don't want to have that sort of big blob of colour. That image might be a little bit too big, but if I do a matching one up here, just wipe this stencil off first. And choose a different one, like this one here. And again, do it off the paper like I just did then. So it's on that edge. So I've kind of got this, you know, circle effect, which means that I'm, you know, doing a mirror image of what they've already got here. So they've got one off the page. I've got one there, and that's probably enough. I just want to do a little one actually on the page. So I just wipe my stencil. I haven't cleaned my surface yet. I was going to do it, and then I thought I'll do this messy one first and then I'll clean it. I'm going to get in here, and I'm just going to do the center part of this clock. Just that little bit, like that. That looks good, doesn't it? I might do another one of those. Kind of, where am I going to put that? Maybe I'll do the center of this one. I'm just looking at where I can balance this out. I don't want it there. Probably up. Let me just look where it's going to go. I'm just looking for my balance to see. Maybe here. I don't know. I don't think I want to put it there. Maybe here. Just do the center part of this one. There you go. Okay, that was probably a good place for it. Yep. So I'm just making sure I've got enough coverage through the different pieces, because when it gets chopped up, it'll be, you know, look completely different to what it does now. All right, so I think that's all for that particular part.